Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Untrapping Product Teams. Let's start this episode with a question. Is Scrum a heavy meeting machine? Lately, I have received many questions. How can we benefit from Scrum events? Also, I have worked with many Scrum teams and developers have been complaining if they could have invested their time in something else. Some sentence I have heard.
I go to these meetings and I cannot say a word, and I wish I have not been there and I have used my time and something better other than not saying a word. I could have coded.
And I started reflecting because they call it as meetings. And in our current scenario of hybrid work, it's very exhaustive to be in a meeting routine. Some people have meetings from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that is unsustainable. Let's just agree on that. But the word meeting is losing its meaning. For example, if you invite me for a meeting, I will be resistant at the beginning because I may think, what is the point in it? I may think if I go to the meeting, maybe I'm gonna waste my time. Maybe the result of the meeting will be an invitation for another meeting. Or maybe we're not gonna achieve anything inside it. And I will be frustrated because I wasted my time. I could have done something else. But now, what if someone invites you for an event? What would you think about it? For me, when it comes to the word event, I would think about energy. I would enjoy it, it would be pleasurable. And that's why Scrum has events and not meetings, because they are supposed to be joyful, supposed to generate value and give energy. And I know meetings are also supposed to generate value, but lately that's not what is really happening, and people want to run away from meetings. And that is why many developers don't want to be in the Scrum events, and they call it as meetings. But Scrum has no meetings whatsoever, it has events. So maybe there is a problem how the events are being conducted. During this video, I want to share with you some anti-patterns of Scrum events and what happens and why people are frustrated and what you could do different. By the end of the video, you should have some insights on how to move from dreadful meeting routines to enjoying your Scrum events. Let's start with the first problem, sprint planning. What would be the result of a good one? The team would be motivated to reach the sprint goal, and they would figure out that together, and that would be the whole thing they would do during the next 2 weeks if you have a 2-week sprint. But generally what happens is a little bit different. The sprint planning starts without talking about the goal, why the sprint is important. They start thinking about which capacity do we have, and then look at what we delivered last sprint and define which features fit to our capacity. And then the features curiously are unrelated to each other. And the product owner will just squeeze the lemon, put a little bit more and more and more. And do you know what is the outcome? Pressure. That's how developers live the sprint planning. They will live thinking,
Oh my god, again we have so many features to work on.
there's no single way we're gonna deliver everything, but we need to commit to the sprint goal, delivering all features by the end of the sprint. And you know, these features, they don't connect to each other. So the team has no chance but to divide and conquer. They have no idea how to collaborate and set the different topics. And this leads to frustration, and it's not a team anymore. It becomes a lot of micro teams inside the Scrum team. And that's just bad. It's not gonna work. Just tell me one thing. Which person would like to go to a meeting where the result is pressure? And that's how the sprint starts, with pressure. This is bad. So looking at the sprint planning, this is the beginning of the sprint. And tell me one thing, which person on earth would like to go to a meeting where the result is pressure? I guess nobody would like that. Because if you start feeling that you're pressured and you cannot achieve that, the result's gonna be bad. Now let's go to the second problem, the daily scrum. If you don't have a goal that everyone is sharing, what is the point of talking to the other developers? It's kind of you're talking to yourself because nobody else is gonna care. Interesting, right? You go and say, today I worked here and there, and then the moment the other is gonna say something, you couldn't care less because it's unrelated to what you're gonna work, but that's how your day starts. You are bombarded with information you don't need. Actually, a daily scrum is supposed to be different. It would start with the sprint goal that everyone is pursuing, everyone going the same direction. And then you would say, what am I doing today to get closer to the sprint goal? And everyone would just collaborate to get closer and remove impediments. But if you don't have a goal, you don't have a reason to have a daily scrum. I guess so, right? Now let's go to the third problem, the sprint review. Let's say you finished the sprint. You did a lot, but maybe you haven't delivered some of the features because it was not feasible. Now it's the moment you are gonna present your stakeholders. Sprint review is supposed to be a working session, and the result should be adaptation to the future to ensure you deliver value for your end users and business. But what happens is a little bit different. You arrive in the meeting, you start presenting the features, and one stakeholder will say, "What about my feature?" And then you say,
Sadly, we could not finish because we had more than we could handle.
And this is the moment the morale of the meeting will go down, because all the attention will go to the only thing you didn't do, while people will forget all the things you delivered. And you know how you leave the meeting? Frustrated, pissed off, unappreciated. You know you put a lot of energy into the sprint, but nobody appreciated your work. Actually, they just bashed you because you didn't deliver the fucking feature they wanted. But the other 29 you did and they forgot about it. That's how many sprint reviews unfold. So would you like to be in a meeting where the result is frustration, where you are sure that your work is unappreciated? Why would you go there? I wouldn't. Now let's go to the retrospective. You finish the sprint, so after the review you are frustrated and you are mad at stakeholders, and then you go to talk about how can you become better as a team, how can you improve your quality, how can you become more effective. And that's not the kind of thing you want to talk about. Now you want to complain about external factors, you want to complain about your stakeholders, and then you externalize everything and you join all the problems instead of separating them. The problems you get together will get super big that you are powerless. You cannot solve this problem. And then you leave the retrospective feeling powerless. But you know, the next event that's gonna happen is a sprint planning. And then you start your sprint planning powerless. Now I guess you know which direction I'm going. So why would you like to participate in events like that? Pressured, confused, couldn't care less, frustrated, unappreciated, powerless. I don't think these are nice feelings, right? But then I would like to ask you, is it the problem Scrum or how we do Scrum? Because I have seen many people generalizing, saying Scrum is a problem, the events get in the way of delivering value. But I doubt that, because maybe we are forgetting the word we. How we do Scrum doesn't work for us. Maybe we could do something different. Let me make an analogy to you. Let's picture the following. You and a couple of friends want to go to the beach, and then you are going to go on a road trip. You get your car and you drive calmly, you appreciate the landscape, and the trip is amazing. Your memories are the landscape, the safe trip you had, the smooth one. You got from your home to the beach calmly, and it's amazing. You had a lovely journey, and you would like to do it again. But then let's say instead of driving, the next time your reckless friend takes the steering wheel, he runs, and then you're afraid because you think he's gonna crash the car. He's doing many things that you know they're not allowed, and you are just thinking, I want this to finish immediately. And the only thing you are not gonna do again is to travel with your friend. Now, let me ask you, what's the problem? The car or the driver? So think about it. Scrum is the problem. Scrum or who is driving the framework? So you can think if Scrum is a heavy meeting machine, or you can become the lead of that and transform boring meetings into events where you leave energized, inspired, motivated, and you help your teams collaborate to reach goals, and you bond stakeholders, and you share your create value, and as a team you become better all the time. It's up to you. You decide which choice you're gonna take. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget hitting the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.